All right, so here we are back for another episode of Beyond the Box Spotlight series, where we are profiling the companies of the Reach Canada portfolio as well as the larger Reach global portfolio. Today, I'm really excited to have co-founder and CEO of Click.ai with us, Parag Goswami. So welcome, Parag.
Thank you, Lane. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast too.
Yeah, great to have you today. So we're really excited to have you and Click as part of the cohort. First and foremost, because first of all, you're a serial entrepreneur with a lot of success in your home country. And you've come to Canada to replicate that success in North America. And so we're really grateful to have you as part of the cohort because we have an opportunity to learn from you and your experiences, as do the other co-founders. So thank you for joining us in this year's class. And we'd love to know from you a little bit more about just sort of first and foremost, high level, your background, and a little bit of background around Click.ai and what you bring to the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So my personal background has been in the software industry. I've been a software developer after I graduated as an engineer back in 2006. Since then, I've worked with multiple software startups, especially on the real estate side. I was based in India, and that's when, around late 2000s, a lot of innovation and, venture capital was coming into to India. So I started my first startup then, was called House.in, kind of like a Google Maps plus listing mashup, what Zillow did back in early 2000s. I tried to replicate the same model in India. Unfortunately, my timing was, somewhere around the mortgage crisis. That didn't work out. So having had a very quantitative, background, I decided to, go to Europe and did my quantitative finance master's. Post that, I came back to India, worked for a mortgage analytics and credit, technology startup. Uh, that's where my first introduction of commercial real estate really started. I worked there briefly as a product manager, project manager, managing various, large scale trading systems and so on and so forth. Post that experience, I actually started a company called Integrated Analytics, which we started as an analytics company, but effectively that became like a mid-size 50 employee shop, handling a lot of commercial real estate due diligence work for various large investment managers and mortgage banks. So having had a technical background, I really had this edge. How can we make our workplace better and provide the tools and technology to our analysts? And that really was the grounding idea for starting Click. And so we kind of like worked a couple of years in stealth mode, building the technology. And when we were feeling a little bit good about how it was performing, I decided, it has to be a North American branded company. And that's when I moved to Canada on Canada Startup Visa, which is a program where Canadian government tries to bring foreign entrepreneurs outside of North America who really are selling to the North American market. That was a great experience for me. So in 2018, I came to Canada. Since then, build a team here, and that's high level. Click
Amazing.
background and my background.
Oh, amazing. So tell us a little bit about the Click solution. So what is the solution that you're selling into the North American market?
Yeah. So, when you look at commercial real estate transaction, it has many, many touch points. Like the first part of that is financial modeling, be it debt, be it equity. You need to model IRRs and, understand what the value of the property is. Now, this really there are multiple aspects to it. The first product that we have in the market today is an automated way of parsing relevant information out of PDF, scanned documents, and, spreadsheets, and instantly convert that into a financial model. Now, imagine like if you're a large mortgage banks or private equity company who's kind of evaluating a lot of deals in a daily basis, traditionally right now this whole process is manual. What Click has done is Click has built advanced document extraction technology that instead of doing this manually will efficiently enhance your workflow and do that more in a more faster way. So what we call it is the document extraction driven workflow automation. So the current product we sell in the market today, which is part of our larger software suite, is an automated way of building financial models from directly from PDFs and scanned documents and financial documents like rent roll and spread operating statements. And that really when deployed at scale at banks and large institutions saves a lot of time and effort for these institutions.
Love it. So really you're reducing the friction, a lot of the friction that comes into that front end component around commercial transacting.
That's correct. Now, like we have a similar view on different other, due diligence workflow as well. Like when you're doing appraisal reviews and, third-party document reviews, a lot of that we have a view that 80% to 90% of that workflow can be automated through technologies that exist now today in the market.
Love it. Love it. So it's addressing not two components from my perspective. It's, reducing friction, but it's also enhancing efficiency into that whole process. So tell me about sort of, if I look at the commercial sector, especially around the technology component, it has been sort of, I would say like noodling a little bit around the edges of innovation, right? It's been a bit slower to adopt innovation, slower to adopt some of these new processes than maybe the residential side of the business. But of course, with COVID over the last, 8 months or so, I think a lot of people are reevaluating that entire kind of commercial landscape. So I'd love to know from your perspective, what has the last 12 months been like? Has it changed any of the vision that you've had in terms of going to market? Have you had to pivot your approach or your timing? Tell us a little bit about what that experience has been for you.
Yeah, so COVID unfortunately has been a very bad thing globally, but from a lot of business and a lot of entrepreneurs I talked to, and this is similar to us as well, has accelerated a little bit of sales cycle at our end. So, what I'm seeing is like coming from a technology and selling into this very tight knit group of, people in industry. It has been very relationship driven. So, traditionally, however, what I'm seeing, and this is a great thing for software startups and software companies, that people are actually at least open to do demos and, pilots, and they have a different view as of today, partly for the reason, the biggest reason I believe, and what we see from our customers is the ability to provide better tools to their employees. And that's exactly where Click fits in. And to a certain extent, I think that has a very positive impact on our business as such. And it has, drastically reduced our sales cycles, and people are jumping on doing pilots and see whether it makes sense for them or not. And so, yeah, overall positive experience. And yeah.
Love it. So are you seeing when you talk about, some of your larger customers in particular looking for additional tools for their employees, is that shifting any of the model or any of the product that you're bringing to market or how you're bringing it to market, or is it just accelerating that trend, as you've said?
I don't think the business models are changing, especially we don't focus ourselves on the deal making aspect of the
Right.
business. So I cannot comment on that. However, having said that, I am definitely seeing a strong trend in terms of consumers, companies actually signing up to smaller startups as well. Like traditionally that has been limited to larger companies and someone who has all these compliance and checks in place. But yeah.
So people are
Overall,
becoming a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more flexible to explore new ideas. I love how you mentioned, even that there's a little bit more willingness to go down the path of demos and pilots and proof of concept, because I think, again, that's where innovation starts, right? Is too oftentimes we see everybody gets on the same train. You get one product gets proven in the market and everybody jumps on that same bandwagon and kind of adopts that technology. And so innovation is very, very slow because you're waiting for that next best solution to come along. I'm just curious, are there, in terms of demos and, not demos, but pilots and proofs of concept, are you seeing that more with larger enterprises? Are you seeing that more with medium enterprises? Or is this something that you're seeing kind of across the entire dynamic of customer base that you have?
I think where it has impacted the most in what I'm seeing is the larger institutions, because they are the ones who are most disrupted right now, being like, because let's assume a large bank, so they were financing across 50 offices, originating loans, then all those files move to credit risk department, which might be spread across. So, it's about the control of the whole deal, the whole process. And I think that's where the software is, helping them tremendously, where timing has become critical, and especially on the banking side where we work the most. Uh, People actually are using tools like ours, not just for their existing deal flow, but also to evaluate, how risky is their portfolio as of today, because they are expecting a lot of defaults, or so they want to have positioned themselves for 2021, just to be better prepared. And that's where I see, tremendous, uh, interest from larger institutions.
Love it. Love it. And so, in terms of those trends and some of those things that you're seeing from particularly those larger institutions, how are you aligning your business to meet some of that changing demand, or maybe accelerated demand, not changing demand, but accelerated demand? Or is there anything that you're doing internally at Click to really align yourself to be able to take advantage of that and partner with and work with these enterprises?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the key things is that we're trying to expedite our product rollouts faster. Like what was planned for late 2021, we're trying to bring this up to the market in Q1 2021. So which is why we're trying to try everything to just get the products out there. We have a software that sells really well, and but our goal really is to build that whole suite of software that instantly automates the workflow to a large extent. To us personally, I think one of the biggest challenges is how quickly can we get the products to the market, and that's where we're
Right.
chasing right now.
So exposure, really just it's exposure. It's about introductions, and really just in this weird period of time where, all of the introductions are happening virtually. It's really just trying to address that hurdle, I guess, having enough time in a day to get on enough introduction calls and Zoom meetings to
Yeah,
get the product
absolutely.
out there.
November
Awesome.
and December is when a lot of companies, at least on the largest institution side, make their
Right.
budgetary requirements. So I'm sure they're all in that process, and we don't want to miss the cycle, and that's one of the
Love it.
part of
Love
it.
it. So that's a great segue into, kind of looking into 2021, Parag. I'd love to know where you are most optimistic that there will be success, either, your business and the larger industry, or the industry at large, and where you think maybe some of those bigger challenges will be.
Uh, I I think automation segment itself would be, we're seeing tremendous changes in almost every company we talk to, at least who has some scale, is onboarding on different kind of automation softwares. A lot of momentum is happening on the Salesforce side. Almost all major institutions are adopting Salesforce as their
Interesting.
backend engine. So that will be the key. I think the theme really is how to make their employees more efficient, and that remains to be the case. There's so much innovation that is happening, and I'm seeing like so many companies coming in commercial real estate tech that within 2021 and end of 2021 will be a totally different time period.
Yeah, so a lot more competition coming into the space, right? Commercial tech. I think you're absolutely right. That's one of the trends we're seeing as well, a higher level, right? Is just a lot of innovation and, capital being poured into that commercial space. I guess the interesting thing will be, which pieces stick, right? Which pieces of technology have that stickiness? And so, what are some of the areas you think have the most potential for stickiness in the commercial sector, given that it's always been very, very relationship based? And
Yep.
with a lens toward innovation, where are those opportunities for that stickiness to really happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think digitization is something that is picking up significant momentum. Most companies are working towards that, because what companies have realized that, at least on the little larger institution side, is that they are sitting already on the data that they're buying from outside. So a lot of, and digitization and putting those into databases is possible today because of the cloud computing power that we have and all. So digitization is one industry. Machine learning, AIs continue to have this solid trend. Effectively, anything that results into a faster deal making process is what everybody is trying to. I mean, competition or squeeze. Competition is squeezing, kind of like percentage the brokers make and all these things. And we're seeing in the mortgage space, there are companies who drop their brokerage fee directly from 1% to 25 basis points. So there's serious competition. The one who the the deal making has to be more efficient, and that's where the industry I see heading towards.
Awesome, awesome. And just before we wrap up here, Parag, what are you most looking forward to in 2021? If you had a crystal ball, what is the one thing that you hope for yourself and for Click in 2021?
Biggest hope I have is that we have a vaccine, obviously, so that I can travel.
Yes. Yes,
I
right.
can
So
see
that
my
we could all.
family in India.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, like, most exciting is about growth. I think there is no better feeling than seeing your company grow. So we're definitely looking forward to that. And investments, competition is great to have in the space. I think that only benefits every party. So we expect that to happen. And I wish there was more VC interest in the market on commercial real estate tech, because this is one of the most illiquid asset class out there, and being one of the biggest one. So yeah, that's
Amazing. Well, that sounds great, Parag. Thank you again so much for sharing those insights with us. We're super happy to have you as part of our cohort. Again, for anybody that wants to find Click, it's Click.ai is the website. And of course, you can always find Click through the narreach.ca website as well. So thanks again, Parag, and best of luck for you and the team.
Thank you, Lynette. Appreciate it. Super excited to be part of the Canada cohort.
Awesome.